I just noticed how cold it's getting. It was actually quite warm earlier today. I was thinking it's very, very warm. And it's amazing how warm it is. This is 13th of November and it's pretty warm. Like, I swear I started using the hot water bottle around mid-October. I like to lie in a duvet cover on the sofa. But yeah, I swear I was using like a hot water bottle from like mid-October last year. I think I did it too early. I definitely did it too early because but yeah, this year I haven't. I have started now, but I didn't need to do it until recently. It's actually considerably warmer this year. But sorry, something that I bought. I went to the shops and they had an Ariel one, and I thought they were £1.50 because they were on sale from £3 to £1.50. But it turned out that it actually included two, so you got two for £1.50. And yeah, I didn't know which one to get. I didn't like the Cinderella one. The Cinderella one, I'm not a cleaner, so I don't like that one. But that one says, always be kind. That one just says Ariel. I like the hats. But this one says, create your own world. And that was also £1.50 for two. And then it's got strong at heart. And yes, it's got Ariel and Rapunzel. And that's my castle. That's where I should be living right now. It's kind of annoying how I'm not. But yes, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. And I'm really getting a headache, feeling really, really ill. But yeah, I just don't you think it's incredibly unfair how some people are paying? Like, I was paying £300 a week, living in a studio flat, paying the rent out of massage money, a job that I didn't enjoy doing, and what she's paying £300 a month and getting a 3-bedroomed house, and she's only paying 250. Actually, she's paying £250. And okay, if it goes up 100, the benefit claim will still be 700, and she'll be making 350. Yeah, she'll be paying about £300.50. So paying £350 for a 3-bedroomed house. Okay, two of the bedrooms are kind of small, but she rents some of those bedrooms out, and she said she's admitted that she now that the housing market is gone, she's admitted that she could rent out those bedrooms for about £500-600 each, because the housing market has gone up. So she could literally just rent out one or two of the rooms and make double of what she's paying for the whole house. So she's getting an incredibly good rate because the housing market or the government is just giving her lots of free money. I don't understand why they're giving her lots of free money. I can understand it if they're saying, oh, you're paying, how much are you paying? You're paying £950. All right, well, we'll give you £400 to contribute with your rent. I can understand that, but what? Why is 3/4 being paid rent? Like, is it just something a new thing that she's been doing? I don't know how it's handled. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how long. Like, is there some sort of? Do you get extra money if you've got a child under the age of 3? Because you can't really work when you've got a child under the age of 3. So I can kind of understand that, but. But you have to have the right kind of people and the right mindset, and Christian values it's an important thing. But I'm saying Christian values as in me being Christ, and my values of not, having a child is a very expensive thing, and the government should not just be helping people because they've chosen to have a child. You need to and the idea that you can become superly rich just by owning a property. I just feel like that's just the government's way of fucking the country up so that the stupid become rich and the smart ones. People need to be before when the British economy was working strong. To become rich, you had to have a business, you had to sell, you had to work with people, you had to learn skills, you had to actually do things that to make your money. And now you get rich just by owning a property and making sure you get the high rent, and if the rent goes up, you have to really struggle to the conversation that we had kind of reminded me of, I think she's not causing any problems, but it reminded me of how hard it was. I realized that I'd been charging I've been charging way less than I should have been for about a year, because I just wanted her to pay the bills, and because of that I was so glad that she was just finally paying the bills that I didn't want to go up in price, because it took me so long to get her to pay the bills, even though I should have never It was for a 3 month contract. As soon as she said that she wanted to stay longer, that's when I should have said you have to pay the bills. But I didn't, because I assumed it was going to be for another 3 months, and then I was really struggling to get her to pay the bills, and that just took so long. And by the time I finally got her to pay the bills, I should have probably gone up to about up in value, but I didn't. But yeah, I don't want to stress over money, but I don't understand how the housing market has gone up so high, and they're destroying the economy. The people in government who are allowing this housing market to go up and up and up, so that everyone becomes poor. You become poor, and the only way you can afford your housing is if you rely on the government, but the government can only get their money if they rely on the tax money, and they don't seem to the shops were empty. I remember Erdington. I used to walk down Erdington. Okay, I didn't usually go in the dark, but occasionally I did. I remember a couple of, when I first got here, 9, 10, 11 years, I liked exploring. Wow, it's a new city, a new place, I wanted to explore it, and I did go to Erdington at night. All the shops were full. All the shops, there was a lot of people walking around. Now there was nothing. Every single shop. I was there about 5 o'clock after I dropped the fish off, 5:30, and all the shops were empty, basically. There was a couple of people in there, but not many. They were all empty. How are they going to earn money? How are these businesses going to be successful? And then I'm looking at the price of what things are. I'm just like, I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay that. And I think also depression. When you've got depression, you don't really want to buy shit. Okay, I bought these things. These things cheer me up. I like Disney, and they're very colourful. You can't see the colours on them, but those things cheer me up. But I only bought them because they're cheap. I wouldn't have bought them. The normal price of those probably should have been about £3 each. And for some reason they were selling them for £3 for one, so they were £3 for two. So they're already giving it on a bargain, and then it's half price. So it's £1.50 for two. Yeah, but yeah. Shops aren't going to be making huge amounts of money if that's all they're selling. And if I was the only customer, there was loads of big shops. There was probably about 3 or 4 fairly really big shops, and there was hardly anyone in them. People don't want to walk around these days. There was a lot of drug-looking people, and a lot of just people look creepy. Always wearing hoodies, and it's just not a nice place to walk around, especially at night. And the idea that the economy's booming or something, and that people can afford to pay £1,500 of rent. I mean, they can if they're on universal credit, but they shouldn't be on universal credit. The government are getting way too powerful, and I don't understand what's the point? What's the point of the government having this much power? Can't they stop? That's what I want. I want them to stop giving this housing benefit. People need to pay. People need to be responsible for their own housing. Then you've got an accurate housing market when people are paying for their own housing. And it's a little bit concerning. I'm glad I had the conversation with her though, because I don't mind if she's only paying £1,000 a month. That's all I was wanting. Yesterday, that was all I was expecting to get, and I literally wrote out a letter, and that was what I was hoping to get. But that was before I realised how much the housing had actually gone up. But I don't mind what she's paying, but at the same time, to think that a huge portion of that is just being paid for by the taxpayer. Is this a long-term thing, or can she just claim this until the child's 18 or something? Is that how it works? I don't know. I have no confidence in the government whatsoever. Because this is not how it should be. People should pay for their own accommodation. People shouldn't be encouraged to have kids if they don't have the money. You need to install Christian values, but I would say Christian values is having abortions if you can't afford to look after the child. That's such an important thing, and the importance of a relationship and looking after yourself and getting a job and not relying on benefits, not just living off handouts and stuff like that. That's not Christian values. That's farm animal values.